Okay, let's go.
Let's talk about your salary. We're going to dive into how you can finally take control of it, break that paycheck to paycheck cycle, and start building a real path to financial freedom. Let's get right into it. So, does this sound familiar to you? You work so hard all month long, you feel that amazing sense of relief when your salary finally hits your bank account, but then it's like poof, it just vanishes. You pay some bills, rent, groceries, maybe a couple of small things for yourself, and all of a sudden, you're right back where you started, waiting for the next payday. Why does this keep happening? Well, there's a name for this cycle. It's called the rat race. You're basically on a hamster wheel. You run faster and faster, you work harder, maybe you even get a raise, but you never actually feel like you're getting ahead. Your bank account just doesn't seem to reflect all that effort. But here's the good news. There is a way off this wheel. And that brings us to the first and honestly, the most important mindset shift you can make. See, building wealth isn't really about the size of your paycheck. I've seen people on pretty modest salaries become truly wealthy, and at the same time, I've seen people with huge incomes end up with nothing. The real secret isn't the money coming in, it's the habits you build around that money. This quote right here from Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki, this is the foundation for everything we're about to cover. It's such a simple idea, but it will completely change the way you look at every dollar you earn. Let's break down exactly what he means. What's so interesting here is this difference between appearing rich and actually becoming rich. The spender, well, they get a raise and immediately start thinking, okay, new car, expensive dinners, designer clothes. Their lifestyle just gets bigger. The builder, on the other hand, gets that same raise and thinks, how can I put this money to work for me? They're focused on long-term freedom, not short-term status. And if you want a perfect real-world example, just look at Warren Buffett. We're talking about one of the wealthiest people on the entire planet, and he has famously lived in the same modest house for decades. Why? Because he understands that money is a tool for building freedom, not for showing off. His life is proof that true wealth is measured by what you build and what you own, not by what you spend and what you show. Okay, so this brings us to the absolute core of this whole philosophy. To change your financial life, you have to really get the difference between these two things. And trust me, it's way simpler than it sounds. So what's an asset? It's really simple. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. That's it. Think of it like a little money-making machine that you own. It could be a stock that pays you a dividend or a rental property that brings in income every month. It's actively working to grow your wealth, even when you're sleeping. A liability, then, is the exact opposite. It's anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's that car loan payment every month. It's the interest on your credit card. It's anything that constantly drains your cash and keeps you stuck on that hamster wheel, working just to pay for stuff. Let's make this super clear with a few examples. Over here in the left column, we've got assets. Things like stocks, a rental property, maybe even your own little side business. On the right, we've got liabilities. That brand new car that loses value the second you drive it, or high-interest credit card debt. The goal is so simple. Get more things from the left column and get rid of things from the right column. So, how do we actually start getting more of those assets? Well, it all comes down to one single, incredibly powerful habit that financially successful people figure out early on. Honestly, this is the game changer. And here's the rule: pay yourself first. Now, this doesn't mean go out and buy yourself a treat. It means the very first bill you pay when you get your salary is to your own future. You pay your savings and your investment accounts before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else. This is how most of us were taught to handle money, right? You earn it, you pay everybody else, the landlord, the credit card company, then you spend on your lifestyle, and you just kind of hope there's something left over to save. But what's the problem? There's almost never anything left. This path is literally designed to keep you running in place. Now, look at this. It's such a simple but profound shift. The wealthy path just flips the order. You earn your salary, and immediately a set portion goes straight to your investments. You treat your future self as your most important bill. Then, you just learn to live off what's left over. This one change forces you to build wealth automatically. So once you start paying yourself first, you're building up this little pile of capital. The next step, and this is the fun part, is to put that capital to work so that your money starts making more money for you. This is how you build that asset column we were talking about. Let me tell you a quick story to show you how this plays out. Imagine two colleagues, Pedro and Lucas. They both get the same raise. Pedro immediately goes out and gets a loan for a fancier car.
Lucas takes that same raise and invests it every single month. Now, for a little while, Pedro might look more successful, but you fast forward 10 years, Lucas's investments have grown into a small fortune, building real freedom, while Pedro is still just paying for his car.
And you really don't need a huge amount of money to get started. So many people get paralyzed because they think they need thousands of dollars to invest. But the truth is, consistency is so much more important than the amount. Even a small, regular investment, like $100 a month, can grow into a massive sum thanks to one very powerful force. And that force is compound interest. It's often called the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. It's a really simple idea. Your investments generate earnings, and then those earnings get put back in to generate their own earnings. It creates this incredible snowball effect that can turn small, consistent savings into a fortune over time. So what's the whole point of all this? All this discipline, all this investing? What's the ultimate goal? It's a concept called financial freedom. And it's not about being crazy rich. It's about something way more valuable. Financial freedom is simply the point where the money coming in from your assets, your stocks, your investments, your businesses, is enough to cover all of your monthly living expenses. At that point, going to work becomes a choice, not something you have to do to survive. Now that is true freedom. So how do you start this journey right now? The path begins today with these steps. First, educate yourself. You're doing that right now. Then attack any high-interest debt like credit cards. After that, set up an automatic transfer so you pay yourself first without even thinking about it. As you start to invest, spread your money around, diversify, and maybe most importantly, be patient. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one choice, a choice you make over and over again. The very next dollar that comes into your life can either become a liability that's gone forever, or it can be an asset, a tiny seed that you plant for your future freedom. The choice is yours.